The Stormbreak Hotel stood alone, a sentinel against the relentless onslaught of the sea. Its windows, like vacant eyes, stared out at the crashing waves. The wind howled through the broken panes, whistling tales of forgotten guests. The salt air, thick and heavy, carried the scent of decay and neglect. The paint peeled from the walls like dying skin. Each gust of wind threatened to rip the rickety structure from its foundations. The Stormbreak Hotel was a tombstone in the sand, a monument to forgotten dreams. John, weary from his travels, stumbled upon the Stormbreak Hotel, a beacon of false hope in the gathering gloom. He pushed through the heavy oak doors, their hinges groaning in protest. The air inside was cold, stagnant. The smell of damp wood and mildew filled his nostrils. Behind the desk, a figure stirred. A face, etched with indifference, emerged from the shadows. John signed the guest book, his hand trembling slightly. He took the heavy, tarnished key, its touch sending a chill down his spine. No words were exchanged. John's room was on the top floor at the end of a long, dimly lit corridor. The air grew colder, more oppressive with each step. He reached his room, the number 13 barely visible on the tarnished brass plate. Inside, the darkness felt almost tangible. It pressed down on him, suffocating him. He fumbled for the light switch. A single bare bulb flickered to life, casting long, grotesque shadows. The room was sparse, furnished only with a bed, a chair, and a small writing desk. The window, its glass crusted with salt spray, offered a view of the raging sea. The sound of the waves crashing against the cliffs below filled the room. John moved towards the window, drawn by the mesmerizing rhythm of the sea. The salty air stung his nostrils, the wind whipping his hair across his face. He felt a strange pull, an almost hypnotic allure. A sound, faint at first, drifted in on the wind, a haunting melody, both beautiful and melancholic. It seemed to emanate from the depths of the storm, carried on the waves crashing against the rocks below. John listened intently, his heart pounding in his chest. The melody grew louder, more insistent. It seemed to weave its way around him. He felt himself drawn to it, pulled towards the window. The music swelled, filling the room, his senses. It was the song of the sirens, he thought, a lure from the depths. He tried to resist, but the melody was too powerful. He was caught in its thrall. Section 5. Drawn to the window. John stumbled towards the window, his eyes fixated on the churning sea below. The melody reached a crescendo, its mournful cry echoing through his very being. He pressed his face against the cold glass, his breath fogging the salt-encrusted pane, and then he saw her, a figure rising from the waves. Section 6. A vision in the mist. She was breathtakingly beautiful. Her skin, pale as moonlight, shimmered with an ethereal glow. Her hair, long and flowing, was the colour of the storm clouds above. Her eyes, wide and captivating, held a depth of sadness that pierced his soul. But there was something unsettling about her beauty, something alien, almost predatory. Her fingers, long and slender, ended in sharp, pointed nails. Her teeth, glimpsed in a fleeting smile, were like rows of pearls. Sharp, predatory pearls. Section 7. Between dream and reality. She sang to him, her voice the haunting melody that had drawn him in. Her song spoke of longing, of loneliness, of a love that transcended death itself. John felt himself being pulled towards her, his will dissolving in the face of her siren song. He reached out to her, his hand pressing against the cold glass of the window. The line between reality and dream blurred. Was he awake? Was he dreaming? Or was he already lost in her watery embrace? Section 8. Reaching for the light. John felt a surge of terror, a desperate need to break free from the siren's spell. He tried to pull away from the window, but his feet felt rooted to the spot. He was trapped, caught between the allure of her song and the chilling certainty of his doom. His gaze fell upon the single flickering light bulb, a beacon of hope amidst the encroaching darkness. He clung to it, focusing all his will on its feeble glow. He had to escape. He had to break free. Section 9. A Rude Awakening. John jolted awake. He was lying in bed, his sheets soaked with sweat. The room was dark, the only sound the relentless pounding of the waves against the cliffs. He sat up, his heart racing, his breath coming in short, ragged gasps. Had it all been a dream? The haunting melody, the siren in the sea, the feeling of being pulled into the abyss? Was it all just a figment of his exhausted mind? Section 10. The Lingering Dread. He got out of bed and stumbled towards the window. The storm had subsided, leaving behind a thick, clinging mist that obscured the sea. He peered out into the gloom, searching for any sign of the siren, any evidence that what he had experienced was real. But there was nothing. Only the mist, swirling and dancing in the faint light of dawn. John stood there for a long time, the cold air chilling him to the bone. He couldn't shake the feeling that he had been on the verge of something terrible, something that chilled him to his very core. As he turned away from the window, a single haunting note echoed in his mind, a final lingering whisper of the siren's call, and in that moment he knew, with a certainty that chilled him to the bone, that he would never truly escape the siren's call. The dread, the ambiguity would linger, a constant shadow in the corner of his mind. He had looked into the abyss, and the abyss had looked back.